What's up, legends? It's Grizzy, and today I'm going to provide you with strategies and tips that will help you dominate with the interdimensional skirmisher we all know as Wraith. I've been an avid Wraith player since Season 1 of Apex Legends and ended that season in the top 50 in Xbox kills in the US. Since then, I've accumulated over 13,000 kills with her on Xbox, and recently I made the switch to PC. I just wanted to give you guys some background that I have countless hours experience and some serious competition with Wraith, and I'm here to bring you guys some tips that will put your name on that champion banner and World's Edge. Wraith is the #1 most played legend thus far in Season 3 with a reported 23.67% pick rate, and it really comes with no big surprise. Wraith is versatile as both an offensive character and a support legend, with one of the hardest to hit character models in the entire game, and possibly one of the best designed given her overall appeal to the community. This brings me to one reason why Wraith is a top tier pick, is because her hitbox and running animation make her incredibly compact and harder to hit than any other champion currently on the roster. While running, Wraith ducks her head and brings her arms up behind her torso, making her already small hitbox appear even harder to hit, showing that yes, Naruto running is definitely OP. Bringing it back to the hitboxes, we need to talk about scale. At the time of release, Gibraltar had a 140% larger hitbox than Wraith, meaning that one trick you can abuse with Wraith, more so than any other legend, is what I call turn strafing. While performing a vulnerable action in a fight, such as reloading or waiting for the Peacekeeper to be available to fire, you should take sharp left and right cuts while dodging enemy fire. This causes your player model to turn rapidly, and your opponent will be left with a smaller target due to the animation. Your reticle and aim will obviously be nowhere close to your enemy once you finish that animation, so you're going to have to practice quick tracking and flicks to return to target and engage the fight quickly and effectively. Now, as nice as it is to have a small hitbox, it does come with a downside. Due to Wraith's small stature, the Apex devs gave her the low profile passive, which causes her to take an increased 5% damage. Due to this increase in damage, it's important to play close range engagements cautiously in the early game, especially when fighting a Caustic or a Gibraltar. As the game progresses into later stages, higher leveled shields and positioning will help against these legends, but in the early game, you're going to suffer given that burst damage is very prevalent in the meta. Remember, fortified legends can take more damage than you, whilst needing to do much less in return, which means that in a shotgun fight, even if you're dodging their shots, they can get one lucky shot while you may need to land 2 to 3 to win the fight against these larger legends. Now let's move on to Wraith's ability and how to actually use them effectively. Wraith's passive is called Voices from the Void. This will prompt you with a voice when danger approaches. This ability can identify if someone has a gun pointed at you and differentiate as whether it's a sniper or not. The voices will also tell you if there's large amounts of death boxes in the area, indicating that people may still be nearby. With this ability, communicate with your teammates when you've been spotted, or you can use this ability to your advantage to try and predict where your enemies are coming from. It can also be advantageous to be in the front of your team with positioning, especially when heading to new areas. This way, you'll be able to detect when you're spotted and can relay that to your team. Apex is still a team-based game where information is power, so don't ignore your friends on the other side and speak up to the rest of your squad. Wraith's tactical ability, Into the Void, has a 20-second cooldown and is one of the main reasons why Wraith is such an effective offensive character. Wraith has the only ability in Apex Legends that allows you to be invulnerable to all damage, allowing her to play aggressively and pick risky fights because she can easily get out. This ability is critical in situations where you overextend or you run into a fight with more players than you initially anticipated. Simply phase out and get to a safe location around teammates to heal up. One major tip that I suggest for using Into the Void is changing eye levels. The phase can be detected by your enemies, so they can track you while you're invulnerable. Usually when I try and phase out to get to a safe position, I try and take high ground on a building or on a ledge. Sometimes your enemies will lose you in their sight due to you going up to a different eye level, and even if they know you have the high ground, sometimes it's just enough to tip the advantage of a fight in your favor. Though be aware that you cannot fire and can't see enemies while the effect is active. But this, combined with her passive, which whispers when you are being aimed at, allows her to easily reposition herself to counter incoming threats ahead of time. Take note that you can open doors while phasing. You also want to phase prior to Bangalore ults, Caustic Gas, or Gibraltar ultimates, or you will be in the phase at a slowed state due to shell shock or the gas slow. Another tip that a lot of people don't know is that phase does not leave a trail if you stand still. If someone is pushing your position and throwing grenades, you could attempt to bamboozle your opponents by phasing and staying in the same position behind cover, waiting for your enemy to push closer or walk right by. Wraith's ultimate ability is where she becomes truly a support to the entire team. Dimensional Rift links 2 locations with portals for 60 seconds. This ultimate takes some planning to use effectively, but it can be incredibly powerful, allowing an entire team to quickly reposition themselves for a devastating surprise attack on an enemy team, or to escape a difficult situation with ease. Wraith's portal shines as an effective tool for repositioning when trying to make safe rotations in ranked, which easily outclasses Path's zipline, because Path's zipline only travels in a straight line and you remain at a consistent speed, making you an easy target. Whereas the Rift, your team is unable to be damaged while taking the portal. Wraith is also an excellent support character because you can utilize her portal for reviving knocked teammates. When there are multiple teams fighting in an area and it's difficult for all legends for each teams to be accounted for, a lot of times Wraith can set a portal for a knocked or downed enemy to set a revive. Downed teammates are able to enter the portal, just be ready to stop the revive if you hear enemies following through. In addition to helping your squad back up, it's pretty effective to use the portal for third-party situations. When approaching multiple teams fighting, often it's important to portal into a safe spot where you can take high ground or an effective position between 2 teams to clean up the third party for some easy kills. The portal is there for you if both teams decide to focus on your team and you need to get out and reassess the situation. A crucial tip when using the portal is to throw thermites or arc stars at the end of your portal when you're vulnerable or suspecting enemies to take your portal. This can help you as sort of setting a trap that can turn the tide of a fight. If you have a Watson on your team, ask her to trap the portal for you, giving your entire team the advantage if someone decides to chase. Another cheeky tip is to turn the portal 180 degrees before dropping it. When an enemy portals through, they'll face the opposite direction and they'll be an easy target. Commonly, I also use the portal as a defensive maneuver. When Wraith uses portals and activates her tactical Into the Void, she becomes invulnerable and during this window has the fastest movement speed in Apex Legends. What I commonly do in outnumbered scenarios when I'm running away with the portal is to place it down right in front of a doorway. That way there's a door that needs to be kicked down, or if they try to get into the house from that direction, they'll just be sent right back through the portal. There are also many instances when the portal comes in clutch, so it's on you and how creative you want to be with the ability. For instance, you could revive teammates and set a portal from the res beacon back toward their death box, so that as soon as they drop back in, they can grab their loot fast and safely prepare for the next fight. I'm going to put a portal from all these loot over here.
Yeah, okay, cool. Thank you.
As a Wraith player, you also need to think about your loadout. With this season of Season 3 in Apex, the PK and the R99 are incredible at close range. Wraith is an incredible character to be close range, and commonly I'll take the front position, take a few shots with the PK or with the R99, and I'll be able to phase out safely back to my teammates. That way, me and my team can assess the situation, and we can push together and clean up the enemies. Overall, Wraith is an excellent initiator and escape artist. As well, she's a crucial piece of support to her team. Wraith makes an excellent legend to pick going solo or with a pre-made squad, and is by far my favorite legend in Apex. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel for future Apex Legends content. I'm Grizzy, and I'm phasing out.